like, hold on a minute. So that was kind of funny. That year I was making $250,000 and I thought, Victor, then I was the shit in town. I was like, $250,000, immigrant, no college education, no experience. I am a baller,
Yeah.
right? I go to this event and this young kid, I swear he was like your age younger, maybe even younger, maybe like 24-ish, right?
Yeah.
He's like a multi millionaire, owns a yacht company. And I'm like, what? I've never felt so small in my life. I thought I was all that in a bag of chips when I showed up to that event. And that's what opened my eyes that if you're the biggest fish, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You outgrown your pond.
Yeah.
So
It's so true.
if you are like with people who are like you're like the smartest one and you're making the most amount of money, you stop growing because you have no one to learn from. You need to
Yeah.
change your room. You need to go in the room where you're the dumbest person in the room where you're like, holy shit, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
How is this kid half my age making millions and millions of dollars? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even, my little mind couldn't even imagine making that much money. That's why I wasn't making that much money because I couldn't even imagine it.
Yeah.
So then I started the whole going down on the business side of things. And then you go into date with destiny because when you're doing all of this business and God forbid everything works out and you start making all of this money, so many people end up gaining weight. So many people end up getting divorces. So many people end up burning friendships and relationships, right? And so is that what you work so hard for? To have all of this money and nobody to spend it with? Or
Right.
no time to spend it? Because or you're so freaking overweight that you don't feel like putting a bathing suit on?
Yeah. You
Or you
can't
go on
enjoy it.
vacation. Yeah, or you go on vacation with a laptop. That's not a vacation,
Yeah.
right? And so then I went to Date with Destiny, and Date with Destiny is more so on life as a whole, right? Of like, how are your friendships? How is your relationship with your parents? How is your relationships with your spouse? How your relationship with your like best friend? And how is your body? And how is your mind? And are you stressed or are you happy or are you fulfilled? Like those type of things. So there's so many different levels of life that we all, nobody has it easy. What I learned through the years is that we all bear our crosses.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, are we going to find our in some way I feel like I've been with God, and I don't know how this all works. But I feel like the test on earth is to see after all of that hardship, do you still believe in God and do you find your way back home?
Yeah. That's a good one. It's so true. I think all of us here on earth are it's like we're here to have a human experience. Our soul is having a human experience, right?
Exactly.
And I'm a firm believer too, like there's people that are there for a season, a reason, and
No, say my
even
words.
like a lifetime. You know, there's people who are going
Yes.
to be there for a season when you're going through hardships, right? And they give you comfort or they help you get from point A to point B. And there's people who are there for a
And
reason.
those are the people that you outgrow.
Yeah. And there's
Sadly, they're going to be people you outgrow, and you can't bring them with you because they don't want to come.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible story. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that as well. And I don't want to take up, I know you're on a time crunch here, so I want to leave some room for the end of the episode here. Is when you had that realization of you were not the biggest fish in the room, what was that emotion like? I know like there was a pivotal point or a transitional point with your mindset shift. What was that moment like afterwards?
It's kind of twofold, right? You realize, oh my gosh, I'm thinking so small.
Yeah.
Because everything we have is we created it with our mind, right? First, you have to think it, then you have to believe that you can, and then it's yours, right? And so I realized, oh my gosh, how important it is to be with people who see the world differently than you do, who think bigger than you do, because that allows you, the 4 mile minute, or I never know if it's 4 mile or 6 mile minute, but it's like that 4 mile minute when nobody ever done it and this guy does it, and now 16 people do it in the following year. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because that person showed it, then it's possible. And don't quote me on the numbers because they're probably totally different, but you understand the concept.
Yeah.
So that's what made me realize I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking so small. But if you think of it's also what we compare it to. I came to this country with $200, making $250,000 in 1 year
Yeah.
versus having 200 bucks in. So in Romania, the average income today is about $1,000 a month is what they take home.
Wow.
And that's college education, working in an office, $1,000 a month.
Wow.
I make multiple six figures a month.
Yeah.
That's not possible at home. So my little Romanian girl mind at the time, I'm Hungarian by nationality, but from Romania to complicate a little more, I speak both. My little Hungarian Romanian girl mind was like, holy shit, making $250,000. I am balling.
Yeah.
I am making 100 times more than anybody else I know,
Wow.
right? But then you enter a room where somebody's literally making thousands of times more than you do, and you're like, whoa, that's possible. Number one, I learned from it, it's possible. You need to think bigger, Gogo. And second of all, where there's another human across from you that's like 2 feet from you, guess what? Guess what, Victor? He had 2 eyes, 2 ears,
Yeah.
1 lips, 1 brain, 2 hands. He wasn't any different than I was as a human, besides the fact that okay, he had balls because he was a guy, but I have my balls up here. Okay,
Yeah.
I have two, they're on my chest. Okay. So I was like, he's not any different than I am. If
Yeah.
he can be a millionaire, then I can be a millionaire. I just need to learn the how. But now that I see another human, the distance between the idea of becoming a millionaire just reduced because in the past to me, before actually meeting a millionaire, that distance was so big. I was like, oh my gosh, they must be some unique creature. And then when you meet one, you're like, oh, you're just doing something different than I do, but with the same skills that I just have to learn those. I have the ability, I just have to learn. I just
Right.
have to get that mindset. I have to put myself into motion to be on that level, that frequency. And so that's what I learned in that room is that you have to forcefully put yourself in rooms where you're the dumbest person to open up your eyes to what's possible. Because once you can see it, you can have it.
Absolutely.